let me show you where we are with the cowl right now. This is the beginning of the round down here where we placed marker B. Here's our marker B right down here. And I have just finished a round with one of my contrasting colors, and I have cut that contrasting color. And I have also now cut the main color. So I've cut both of my working yarns at this point. All right, that's because while we were working in the round for a while, now we need to eventually stop because we've got this funky shape here. And we're going to knit back and forth by rejoining our yarn up here at marker A and knitting down to marker B, maybe doing a decrease, and then back up to marker A again, and we'll turn our work. So let me show you again, see if you can maybe see what we're doing here. We're going to start up here, we're going to knit this way, stop, turn our work a wrong side row going back this way, back up to marker A, turn our work to the right side, work this way, and gradually we're going to be filling this in with a new triangle, but this time the triangle will be worked from the outside working in. And what we'll end up with is a tube. I promise we will end up with a tube right there. But to get started, what we need to do is, well, I need to take my little stoppers off here. We need to turn our work this way. Here's our marker B, and slip all of these stitches. You can do it one by one, or you could do a bunch at a time, but we need to slip them back on to the other needle. Right. It's kind of a funky construction. I figured out how to do the geometry and get a round cowl from a couple of triangles 3 or 4 years ago. I think the first pattern that I made something like this was called circular reasoning. Get it? Circular reasoning. You get a circular piece from a couple of triangles. And then I did a few more. One was called Slanted Circle, and a couple of years ago I did a mystery knit along that was a similar construction called Till the Cowls Come Home. And that was a fun little mystery knit along right there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so to slip, by the way, to slip the stitches, you just insert your right needle into the stitch as though you're going to purl it, and you just pull it right off. So just in case you're not familiar with slipping stitches, put your right needle into the next stitch as if to purl, and you just slip like that. Knitting patterns always make an assumption that you will slip a stitch purl-wise, unless the instructions say otherwise. So we're slipping them purl-wise, and that will make sure that our stitches are in the right orientation for when we turn our work. Okay, here I am at marker A. I'm going to actually, no, I won't do that. I will keep that marker there for a while. Eventually you're not going to need it, but for now it's really going to help us. So we're going to leave that marker A right there, turn our work, and now I'm going to rejoin my yarn. Okay, so the next row here, because now we're going to be working in rows, is with the main color. So I'm going to knit 3. And because we're now working a triangle from the outside in, I'm going to knit those next 2 stitches together like that. And let's see, this is the first row, the right side row of a row with the main color. So all I do is just knit all the stitches. Again, I'm a continental knitter, so I just kind of pick my stitches like so. You all must be getting really bored just watching me knit here. And maybe you can hear my dog in the background walking around the house. I think she might want to go outside soon. But hey, we're knitting here. We're doing a tutorial. Tutorials wait for no dog. Okay, we almost there. Oh, wow, we got a ways to go before we're down there. Tell you what, I'm going to edit this part out. Okay, much easier this way. We are 3 stitches from marker B. So I'm going to knit that next one and slip knit the next 2. These 2 stitches are really loose because remember this is where we cut the working yarn. So I just kind of pull them to keep the stitches from loosening too much, and I'll weave in those ends a little bit later. So I'll slip my marker, knit 1 and knit 2 together. And oops, did I do that right? No, I did not do that right. There we go. Let's knit those 2 together. All right. Now I'm going to knit back up. This thing looks like a hot mess, but I'm going to knit back up to marker A. Can you see that I have marker B down here and marker A is right here? We're going to knit up to marker A, and it is going to be so tempting to just slip that marker and knit right across and start knitting in the round, but we don't want to do that. As soon as we get to the marker A now, up at the top, we need to turn our work. And so that's why it's really important to leave the marker right there so that we don't knit right across it. So as I get closer to marker A, I'll show you how we do that. Okay, I am getting really close to marker A. Really close, and as soon as I get to it, I am going to stop and turn my work. I'm not even going to slip that marker. There we go. Oh, well, first I got to do a decrease there. Wait a minute. So 5 stitches before marker A, I need to slip, knit, and then knit those last 3. This is like making a triangle shawl from the outside in. Okay, do not slip that marker A. You stay right there, marker A. Don't go anywhere. Turn your work to the wrong side. And there we go. Now we're keeping these first 3 stitches and the last 3 stitches in stockinette. In garter stitch. So I'm going to knit those 3. And then because this is a wrong side row with the main color, I'm going to keep that in stockinette. So now I'm going to purl all these stitches like we did at the very beginning of the cowl when we were making the first triangle. So all I'll do is purl all the way back, all the way around, back up to marker A. I am not going to slip that marker A then. I'm going to turn my work and then work a right side round with the next contrasting color. And I'll be back to show you what this looks like when I get a little farther into it so you can see what it looks like as it develops. Okay, I've been working on my cowl for a little while. It is daylight again, and I thought I'd show you some of my progress. First up, let's just take a look at this again, and let me remind you all that your cast on, the garter tab cast on was right down here. And we worked back and forth in a triangle until we got to the end of, well, my purple section here. And then we joined it in the round. And then we worked in the round for a little while, working down this way, making decreases every other right side row here, and then working back up in the round. And then we started working back and forth. And we're still making decreases every other right side round down here at marker B. My marker A was up here, but it fell off after a while, and you can see why, because now we're making decreases at this upper edge here, so it's like we're doing a triangle from the outside in. Let me show you a better view here. What if I pull it open like this? And I've put little needle protectors on the end there. Ooh, come back. Here we go. And you can see Then I'm starting each right side row here, working down to marker B. If I'm working in my main color, I will do decreases down here. If I'm working in a contrasting color, I'm not, and I'll explain that in just a sec. And then I'll come back up here, making decreases at this edge as well. Turn my work, and I work a wrong side row, coming right back this way. So can you see where we're going with this? We're gradually going to be filling this in like we're working a triangle from the outside in. And we'll eventually have several stitches here that we'll just do a 3-needle bind off for, or you could graft it if you like. I'm a fan of the 3-needle bind off for that. So, but let me show you this when we fold it along these increase and decrease lines. Yep, get my working yarn out of the way there. Okay. Okay, so this is still kind of bunched up on my needle here. But along this edge, we've been doing increases until we got to here, and now we're working this way, and we're going to end up with a tube so that you can fit your head through there and put this around your neck. But down at this edge here, we've been making decreases, but not every single right side row, only every other right side row. And what that does is, again, because this is bunched up, it means that I'm getting an angle going out this way, so that when we get to the end and graft our stitches up here, we're going to have a piece that's wider, that has a wider opening over here than this opening is along where we started. That's going to make the cowl a little easier to wear around your neck. I'm intending that this part here, this narrower opening, will be the top part of your cowl, that it'll be closer to your chin. And this part down here, which again will have a bigger circumference, will be down lower on your collarbone, I guess. And it's a complaint of mine sometimes that a lot of cowls get too bunchy at the top, or they just don't, caress your neck quite as much. So I wanted to design a cowl that was that had a narrower opening at the top. So, you'll have to pull it over your head, but hey, it'll stretch. And that way it just kind of stays up and caresses your neck a little bit better. And I'll be back and show you what that looks like when I'm all done with the cowl. And here we go. I have finished the cowl here, and it's been blocked, and I love it. It's scrummy and it's very squishy, and I love it. And it's actually narrower at the top than it is down here at the bottom. Or actually, what I'm calling the top and the bottom are kind of inverted. This cowl is actually worked from the top down, isn't it? We really worked it this way. Down here, and you're probably tired of hearing me say this on this video, but this was our little garter tab cast on right here. And we worked back and forth flat, making a triangle, meaning that we were making increases along this center stitch, and we were making increases down here along this garter edge until it got as wide as I wanted it to be able to pull and stretch over an average size head. So once it was wide enough, we joined this whole thing in the round. We knit down here, and we did not turn our work. We put a marker there, and we knit up this way, didn't we? And then we were working in the round for several rows where we were decreasing on every right side row only with the main color along this line here. And we did increases where marker A was every single right side row, regardless of whether or not it was the main color or the contrasting color. And then we did that till we got up to here, and we started working. We cut our yarn and we rejoined it way up here, didn't we? And we started working back and forth again. We rejoined our yarn here. We did a decrease along this garter edge, came down here to where marker B was, and we did a decrease there only if we were doing a right side row with the main color, not the contrasting colors. And then we knit way back up there, and then we turned and did a decrease up here. We did our wrong side row, knitting down here, working down this way from the wrong side, and then back up to here, and we were basically making a triangle from the outside moving in like that until we finally got to this point where I can show you here where it's a little clearer where we're doing a triangle like this. And finally, we had few enough stitches right here to either graft together or do a 3-needle bind off. Now, I did a 3-needle bind off because I hate grafting. I am not a grafter. I'm a 3-needle binder offer, and so that is what I did, and I'm really happy with how it looked. Now, this got a little stretched out when I blocked it, but I'm totally fine with that. I actually want to stretch this out a little bit more, and I could even get more of a round shape there. Now this is our decrease line along here, and I think it looks very like spider-ish, kind of an arachnid sort of theme here where you have decreases there. They look like spider legs. I kind of like that. But as you recall, along this line here, we were only decreasing on every right side row that we worked with the main color. We didn't do decreases here with the contrasting color, although I may have messed up a few times myself and had to go back and fix that because it was just out of habit that I want to decrease every right side row. But no, only every right side row with the main color, this gray color that I have here, is a decrease row. And what that did was this. Let me show you this. Okay. This is our decrease line over here. Can you see that it's at a different angle than this line over here where we increased every right side row while we were working that first triangle? What this did for us is it made a cowl for us that had a narrower end here, a narrower opening on this end than out here. So this end is wider, so when you wear this cowl, you're really going to wear it this way. Your neck is going to be up here, and down here will be where your torso is. And I just think it makes the cowl a little easier to wear that way, at least for a shorter cowl. If we had gone taller with this cowl, it's less of an issue with a tall cowl, having the bottom circumference the same as the upper circumference. But I actually like a slightly shorter cowl for a thicker fabric like this. I've done cowls with this same construction before. For example, Till the Cowls Come Home. But that is completely worked in a stockinette stitch. And stockinette stitch is not as dense as this fabric here. This fabric here is very textured because we have all of these slipped stitches, and basically half of it is garter. So it's a thicker fabric, so a taller cowl really didn't work very well. I wanted a smaller one, and that meant that I was going to prefer a smaller circumference up at the top where your neck's going to be than out here where, you know, your collarbone and shoulders will be. This gives you a little more space, and it makes the cowl easier to wear. So this cowl was actually worked from the top, moving this way, down. And I hope you've enjoyed the pattern. I hope you enjoy wearing or gifting the cowl very much. Have a great day.